the announcements went out that Ocusell is now a member benefit for y'all. Okay. There was no provisioning emails that went out, rather just announcements letting you know that the Ocusell tile is now available on the FMLS website, right? It's in that product section. Nice little handy dandy house with a little carrot on it, right? So make sure that you have access to that. The first time that you click on that Ocusell icon, you most likely will be prompted to put in some set of credentials just to make sure that we're verifying who you are at that time, okay? But ultimately, once you've done that one time, you should never have to re-enter that password through that SSO, okay? Now, once you've landed into your Ocusell account, here's what your dashboard is going to look like. You most likely will have a couple listings that are either active or inactive on your dashboard. Unfortunately, I'm not a licensed member, not yet, with FMLS, but ultimately I don't have any listings here to show you beyond what's in my drafts. Okay. But ultimately I'll explain this page and what you're seeing right now. But first, let's tackle some credentials. Okay. So the first time that you log into Ocusell, you should have a walkthrough that actually leads you to this settings page right here. Okay. In the top left, there's a little gear wheel. We click that. Here's where you're going to have an opportunity to add some personal information about yourself, your phone number, if you'd rather go by a shortened abbreviated name versus your, government name, whatever it might be, right? You can adjust any of those personal pieces of information. You can include a photo of yourself, right? Make it your own, right? Take ownership of it, add a photo. Unfortunately, no one is going to see whatever photo you add. So if it's a picture of your dog, a picture of you from Spring Break 02, whatever it might be, right? Have at it. But most importantly on this page is our FMLS or the MLS credentials, okay? As I mentioned just a moment ago before I was sharing the screen, that username, when you add credentials, must be in all capital letters, okay? So make sure that you're entering in your username, and this goes for both GAMLS and FMLS, okay? That username must be in all capital letters. In addition, if we are applying our FMLS credentials, our password may not work right away. And that's because FMLS has a third-party retrieval button within the FMLS site, okay? If you navigate from your dashboard to my account, okay, if you want to jot that down, dashboard to my account, the very first heading is third-party retrieval password, okay? You essentially click that button, it's going to produce a temporary password for you, and you're going to bring that down and you're going to paste that into your password section right here, okay? Hopefully we don't have any issues with that as long as we're using all capital letters, trying that password first, and if not, going and grabbing that third-party retrieval. But just like Wendy, that all capital letters probably is going to do the trick for you, okay? Excellent. Now, we'll go ahead and navigate back to our listings page. And I mentioned that when you log in, you should be able to see some of your active and inactive listings. So we did an import for everybody, okay? So you should be seeing some listings, and ultimately we've broken them down, and we use our own language here. So I want to explain what all this means, right? When you're viewing your published dashboard, these are all active on market properties, okay? They've either been published to both FMLS and GAMLS or one or the other, okay? Draft listings is similar to those incomplete listings, okay? 1 second. Apologies there. So our draft listings are just simple listings that have not gone to market yet, right? Whether they're coming soon, and once that coming soon date hits, they'll move over to the publish side, or they're just waiting for you to hit publish, okay? You're still acquiring some photos, maybe getting some details laid out, right? These are your incomplete listings. Archived is going to be any listings that have been published, were active, and now since been sold, leased, withdrawn, archived, expired, right? Anything that's fallen off market will live in that archived section for about 30 days. Okay. And we have what we call out of sync. And this is to make sure that Ocusell and your MLSs are always in parity. Okay. So imagine you use Ocusell today. You publish a listing. Fantastic. Good job. However, one of your admins, or maybe even you forget, and this evening you go to FMLS's website directly and you do a little price change. Well, we want to make sure that we're detecting that price change in Ocusell. So if in fact that happens and something gets out of whack or out of sync on the MLS and it differs from what you see in Ocusell, you're going to get an email about that in the morning, right? We're going to do a proactive scan letting you know, hey, we've detected something out on the MLS that's different from what we see. We want to remain the source of truth. So we're going to do a proactive scan and we're going to email you and say, hey, we've noticed that 123 Main Street has a different price on FMLS. Which one's true, right? And you'll be able to remedy that and reconcile and say, yes, this price is true. Go ahead and update the other side, okay? So be on the lookout. Hopefully you guys aren't kind of, battling your own selves and adding a price over here in Ocusell and then, adjusting something over in FMLS. Any and all updates can happen here in Ocusell to push those new price changes or status changes, okay? Awesome. Let's go ahead and create some listings, okay? So in the top right, I have the ability to click add listing, and I'm going to click new start from scratch. And there's two questions here that I'm being prompted with. One is simply, what is the listing address that we're going to be listing today? We're going to list 304 Ashby Way down in Warner Robins. What's up, Warner Robins, folks? Okay. And now I'm being asked, which MLSs do I want to publish this 304 Ashby Way to? If I click just FMLS, you'll see here, I'm going to zoom out so you can see a little bit more. I'm now prompted to select the property type. Okay, whether this be commercial sale, leased, land, residential, detached, attached, right? What have you. Go ahead and select residential detached. Zoom out. Single family residence. Now you also see here the ability to check this box and add this as a registered listing. Okay, registered listings are exclusive to FMLS, right? So if you're familiar with that and practice registered listings, fantastic. You can go ahead and do that right now. Okay. However, if we're going to be listing to both FMLS and Georgia MLS at the same time, I'm going to choose both, right? I'm going to have FMLS and Georgia selected. I no longer see that that registered listing prompt, okay? So if you're going to do a registered listing, it must start solely with FMLS and before you add GAMLS, okay? And I'll show you the ability to add and tack on an MLS downstream, okay? But ultimately now I'm going to choose the same property type and subtype for GAMLS, and I'm going to hit submit. At this point, we've partnered with Real Reports, and they are scouring 40 plus databases to populate as much information about this listing as we can, about this property rather, okay? So hopefully when this loads, you're already standing on third base, okay? You're going to have somewhere between 60 and 90, maybe even more fields populate based off of this property, okay? Give it just another second here. Hopefully it's fetching a bunch and it's not just going to return a few here. Right, I'm going to pop my head into the chat here. It looks like you guys are handling that. Thank you, guys. I'm just gonna do a refresh here. I should have mentioned that I'm in our staging environment. Anything can happen in staging. All right, Warner Robins, FMLS, and GMLS. Let's go property type, residential detached, single family, residential, single family residence. And again, we're looking through our databases to find as much information as we can. A few other aspects beyond just the ability to scour these public records and populate as much as we can. There are a few other AI attributes that you'll notice throughout this listing. Go 76 populated. Fantastic. Now let's go to the listing. Okay. So real quick, when I'm looking at my listing now, so because we chose GAMLS and FMLS and chose residential single family, basically what was happening in the background beyond the pre-populating of information is we were creating this form from scratch. Okay. So anytime you choose a different subtype or property type, or whether it's just GAMLS or FMLS, this form, this digital data entry form, is going to be customized for exactly that. Okay. So before I scroll down and start filling in any information, let's take a look at how you're going to stay on track and make sure you know where you're going at all times. Okay. So first things first. We have a little overview section where you can see your name as the primary agent. If you need to add a co-listing agent, right? Your wife, your partner, whomever that might be, right? You can go ahead and add them. Okay. Up here in the top right, we do have an option to only show required fields. So if you're a bare minimum guy or gal and you want to just put in what the bare minimum required fields are, fantastic. I'm going to refrain from doing that. That way you can see all of the options and fields that you can add. And hopefully, by doing so, enrich your listings. Okay. At any time, I can click save and exit and go back to my listings page and maybe pop into another listing, maybe create another listing. Who knows? And at any time, I can click proceed to publish and publish this thing. Okay. However, if you were to click proceed and publish, there's going to be a whole bunch of required fields that are missing, and you're not going to be able to publish without those required fields. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive in. On the left-hand side, we have a little stepper here letting you know of each of the different MLS pages that you have the ability to fill in. And anytime you see a green check mark, that page is good. There's no more required fields on this overview section that you need to enter, add, or edit. Okay, so that's good. So rule of thumb, we want to see green check marks throughout all of these pages. Okay, so let's do that. Let's scroll down, and I'll do my best to zoom in and zoom out. Unfortunately, some fields like to move around when I do that, so just bear with me as I zoom in and zoom out to point out specific things. Okay. All right. In property, we can see here that our street number, street name, suffix, state, county, zip, city, zip code suffix, all populated. We're good to go. There's nothing more that I need to add here. There is no unit number. I don't have a street prefix. Okay. So I can go ahead and scroll down. My subdivision name is populated. Looks great. And we have directions here. Okay. Obviously, you're going to be putting in real directions and not my just repetitive directions. Okay. Now, I do want you to notice that there's only one save button and one save and exit button. But I want to tell you that just like Google Docs, after every keystroke, this saves. So anytime you click on something, you hit a keystroke, that's going to save automatically. And it's going to let you know if I hover over it, saved 9 seconds ago. All right. So there should be never any degradation or come back, you leave, you go into the door, come back, and you have to rekey any information. That should never happen for you guys, okay? You're welcome. All right, I do see a green check mark for property. That's fantastic. Let's go ahead and keep scrolling down to our list price, okay? For instance, our list price. Some of you may know just from doing a ton of listing, right, in volume, you'll know that on FMLS's website, they actually don't like commas and decimal points, right? They want whole numbers only. Well, we're going to strip out these commas and decimal points for you. But ultimately, we want to show you the real true list price, right? If there weren't commas in here, it'd be very easy for me to sell this $1.5 million home accidentally for $150,000, right? And whose sellers are going to be happy when that happens? I don't think any, right? So just visually, we're going to help you out. We're going to add some commas and decimal points, but ultimately, we're going to strip those out before they go to FMLS, just so you can work a little bit easier within Ocusell, okay? Perfect. We have some key dates here, expiration dates, and status. Now, this is our first view of where FMLS calls something different than Georgia, okay? For instance, Georgia refers to active or new as new, and FMLS refers to active as active. Now, ultimately, I'm choosing both of those values, and I want to make sure that I have a check mark next to both Georgia and FMLS to let me know that I've satisfied both of those requirements, okay? Those are both required fields for each MLS, so we want to make sure that we're addressing those independently. Now, coming soon, rather, is a common term across both of them. So if I choose coming soon, well, look at that. Both of them get a check mark, okay? It's only where the values differ that you're going to actually have to choose multiple selections, okay? All right. Now, because it's a coming soon, a new field populated here, and that's the on market. We'll say that's going to happen next week or this Friday, rather, okay? If I scroll down, any of the required fields that I need to hit are going to have a little asterisk right next to them, okay? In this digital form, I can actually fly pretty quickly through this, okay? And I'm not an agent. So that just leads me to believe that you folks that have been in this industry for who knows how long, right? Maybe 6 months, maybe 6 years, maybe 25 years. The intuitiveness of this product plus your experience of working within the MLS, you guys are going to love this, okay? Now, let's step into the 21st century here. This public remarks section. You'll notice there's a little generate button over here, and you're probably wondering, what does that mean, Patrick? Well, that means we're going to generate a public remarks for you, okay? Based off of our AI that we've built, okay? Now, we could go ahead and hit that button right now, and based off of the 40 plus public record databases that we have, we could probably write a pretty compelling public remarks right now. However, we want you to add your photos first, then come back and hit this button, and then see what type of description was written for your public remarks, okay? So that's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to skip this public remarks section right now. I'm going to keep scrolling down. And the next section here is media and documents, okay? You'll notice that my property section is already green and check marked, and we're currently on the media and document section. So that's identified and rendered black, letting me know where I am. But notice that listing information is not green because I intentionally skipped that public remarks, okay? So here I'm going to answer a couple questions, and I'll immediately, I can drag and drop any photos from my computer. I can grab photos by opening up the file, okay? Let's see here. Grab just a few here. All right, as that's loading, there we go. Okay. So I've uploaded 5 photos here. Okay. Now I do have a AI reorder. Okay. And this AI reorder is going to lump any of the rooms together that you have, right? And then also make sure that that front exterior is the number one hero shot. Okay. Even though I didn't add an exterior photo, right? I might get slapped on the hand there for that one. But ultimately, I have the ability to drag these in any specific order, right? I can lump them together, right? Just by simply dragging and dropping them, okay? Now, if you've uploaded 90 to 100 different photos and you're then now dragging and dropping things and trying to match the rooms, that could take a little bit of time, okay? So we've introduced a table view, okay? Now, these table views are actually numbered. So I can say, well, ooh, that 5th one or that 95th one, I want to make sure is in my first position. Okay. I click and boom, voila, that moves up to the first position right there. Okay. I can still drag and drop these with these little drag handles. Okay. If I need to. And I have an option over here on the right that I can edit, hide, rotate, or delete these photos. Okay. So for instance, if I wanted to edit, this is going to allow me to say bedroom 2, right? And name them. If I needed to, I can also hide, right? And I can do this from the grid view as well. So if I click over here and hover over each photo, I can see that I can edit, I can hide, right? So maybe my photographer sent me a whole bunch of photos. Some of them I just rather not use, right? Maybe the lighting was a little funky. Maybe it's too similar of a photo to other photos, right? Or maybe it was actually some marketing photos that they took that I'm not going to put on the MLS, but I'm thankful that he sent them to me, okay? I can rotate or I could delete any photos out of here, okay? So pretty cool. Now, we've added our photos. Let's scroll back up to that public remarks section, and I'm going to hit this generate button. And a little toast down here says generating public remarks. This may take a few seconds. Feel free to continue editing your listing. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to scroll down and finish editing what I can. But ultimately, that listing info, it's going to turn green eventually. Okay. And that's going to be my indicator that I know it's good to go. All right. So next in the media and document section are documents. So any supporting documents that you need to upload for, lead-based paint documents or seller's disclosures, any of those supporting documents you need to upload to the MLSs, you'll have the option to upload them here. Okay. Now for GAMLS, you literally drag and drop them, upload them into this upload document section. However, for Remind or FMLS, and that's the reason why we're here, right? FMLS documents need to be sent to Remind Docs Plus. Okay, so that process isn't going away just yet. Maybe eventually, but as of right now, any of those supporting documents need to be uploaded directly to Remind. Okay. Now, I noticed that green check mark. Did anybody else notice that green check mark in listing info? Let's take a scroll up and voila. Welcome to this exquisite residence that effortlessly combines elegance and comfort, showcasing a meticulous design that will cater to your every need. All right. That definitely sounds like I wrote that. I'm going to say for sure. It's even mentioned a vibrant Persian rug. Okay. So again, the importance of having those photos uploaded first and letting AI call those kind of features out or some of those things that we want to draw attention to. Okay. Similarly to those commas and decimal points, you'll notice that we have paragraph breaks in our listing description or our public remarks. Know that we'll also be cutting out those page or the paragraph breaks rather. Okay. So it's going to look the same way in FMLS. It's going to be a nice one tight paragraph. Okay. However, visually in Ocusell, we want to try to make it a little bit easier to read maybe and identify anything that you need to maybe adjust, right? Because ultimately, I don't know. That first line, I don't know if anyone's going to buy that I wrote that. Okay. There was a lot of $10 words in there. All right. So maybe what you want to do is go ahead and generate those public remarks and then come in here and fine tune it a little bit more, right? I know there's one quick way to make sure that my clients or whomever knows that I wrote it. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to misspell one word, right? And they're like, yeah, well, AI definitely didn't write it. Pat wrote it because he misspelled, tomorrow, right? So know that you can come in here, adjust these public remarks, and you can adjust them throughout the life cycle of the listing, right? As you have coming soon, as you have an open house, as you go, closer to sale, right? You may be tweaking and adjusting these. Feel free to adjust them in Ocusell and then click publish. Okay. All right. Now I'm scrolling down again. I'm just going in one order, right? I'm going top to bottom. But you want to hear a little trick? I can bounce around from any of these pages that I want, okay? So if I have the information for characteristics and all the lot information sitting in front of me, well, I can start there if I want to, okay? So I can go top to bottom, or if I want to be like Drake, I can go from the bottom to the top, okay? Awesome. Now, I'll go ahead and work my way down here, identifying any of these radio buttons here. I can add my virtual tour links, okay? Perfect. My lock boxes go Supra, showing instruction or considerations. Now watch this, folks, okay? None is always going to be that first entry on this pick list, okay? However, if I choose any of the other options, you'll notice those get shuffled to the top. So I always see what I've selected first, and everything kind of shuffles down below that, okay? We will not allow you to contradict yourself. Okay. So if you're clicking rapidly and you're like, okay, yeah, day sleeper, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you hit none, guess what happens? We remove any of those prior selections and keep none at the top. Okay. However, before you click anything else, we do want to make sure that we remove none and let you know, or so we know it was an intentional thing, right? We want to make sure, okay, did they just click none and then they selected 5 other things for what reason, right? So we want to make sure that you're not contradicting yourself or applying, invalid values to the section, okay? So you'll see that throughout the page, okay? Oh, I'm not Cassie today. I'm Jane today. Okay. Add a phone number, right? Anytime access, 24-hour access. Perfect. Okay. Hey, Titus, I realize I haven't called on you lately. Any questions coming in the chat that we might need to circle back on or take another look at, or maybe just provide slightly more information on?
So we've had a couple of questions come in. One of them is mostly from the admin spectrum. As an admin, will we be able to enter listings for the agents using Ocusell with our own login?
Awesome. Thank you, Titus. And thank you, whoever wrote that. So this member benefit opportunity is only for agents. Okay. This is what we're calling Ocusell List. We do have a brokerage product called Ocusell List Plus, and it offers all of those things, right? The ability to list on behalf of, the ability to provide a workflow approval process, right? So maybe I'm an agent, right? As Jane, right? I fill everything out. However, before I publish it, my broker or my manager wants to see it, right? The List Plus offers the ability to send something for review before it's published. Okay. And any of those folks that are interested in maybe exploring more or hearing more about that, let me know or let Titus know and maybe you can kind of jot a few names down for me. But ultimately, yeah, there is a solution for that. This is only for agents in their ad edit. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Great question. Any others, Titus, that you think we should call out?
We had one more where someone wanted to know, is there like a spell check when you're typing into each field?
There is not, I guess. But ultimately you'll notice there's only a few free form fields, right? Um, so a lot of these, right, they're dates, they're checkboxes or drop down values. So I can't free form type, you know, exclusive. All that does is actually narrow down the search. So I can't free form type. So basically you will be selecting whatever values are there. Now, I guess if you are writing your own listing description and you misspell words, I let me see if we get a little line here. Um, all right, sure enough. Okay. Yeah, that's not a word, and we're gonna call that out. So yes, in the listing description, if you misspell something, we'll let you know.
Awesome. And
Yeah,
Pat,
thank you
one
for that.
more. Um, some agents have logged in, but they're not seeing their current listings coming through. Is there like a wait period
Okay.
before they come through?
Um, a wait period, I don't know. I might have to double check. But ultimately, let me see if there's a self-service way that I can import my listings here. But let me get a little bit further down the line. I know my account specifically doesn't have active listings on the MLS, so um, I'm worried my environment and my account might not paint that picture, but I'll do my best to paint the picture for you. Okay. So
Awesome.
awesome, Titus. Thank you, sir. All right, scrolling down, filling out as much as I can. We're almost there. We have a few sections left here that still are requiring fields. We have our community and schools, those populated fantastic, right? HOA restrictions or HOAs, there's zero fees, right? Includes none. Okay. I know I'm selecting improper values there, but nonetheless. All right. Here we can identify the bedrooms and baths for the upper, lower, main levels. Any features that we have here. Again, I can search. So maybe it was oversized that I need, right? And that just narrows down that search, right? I can select up to 3 there. Okay. Dining room features. Okay. Breakfast nook, master feature, bidet, double vanity, all the good stuff. Okay. Awesome. Now, let's just say that I don't see this section over here and I don't see, okay, there's nothing in characteristics. It's not green. These two aren't green, right? However, you think you're done. And I click proceed to publish. What that's going to do is it's going to automatically send out a validation scan to make sure that we address all of those fields. And look what happened. A couple sections over here turned red. Red's not good. Green's good. Red's bad. Okay. Red just means there's a few pieces of information that we did not enter incorrectly. Okay. Now, when we do that, you'll notice any of those fields that are either missing or incomplete. Not only are we going to have the red asterisk there, but also a little description in plain English as to what you need to add there. Okay. Isn't that cool? So now I can actually bounce over to the tax and legal and say, okay, where's that red text at? Oh, sure enough, I forgot to enter that, right? If I scroll down, I can jump into structure. Okay. These are required here. I think this is my staging environment throwing off some fun airs for me. Scroll down. All right, foundation, block. Here's a validation rule. In the public records, we did not find that there was a garage for this. So therefore, that garage space needs to be 0. Okay. Interior features will address. Okay. Actually, I think that needs to be blank. It must be blank. Okay. All right. Split level. Perfect. Okay. Resale. All right. Once I get to the very bottom, a few more fields here. Frontage, street view. All right. No green energy. All right. Let's look like there's one more here in structure. No patio features. Breezeway covered. One more. All right, conventional oven. All right, now I have all green over here. That looks fantastic. Now if I click proceed to publish, it takes me to this publish page here. Similar to, I hope some of you caught that proceed to publish. Sounds a lot like proceed to checkout, right? And we created this publish page to kind of mimic one of those checkout pages, right? You buy something off of Amazon or, any of the million websites that you can buy stuff from, right? There's always a proceed to checkout button. And there's a reason they do that, right? It gives buyers confidence, right? When you list of all the things that you're buying, right? Here's the socks, here's the shoestrings, here's all the things in my cart. There's my billing address, there's my shipping address, right? We've condensed everything into one spot to make it nice and easy for you to say, yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want to purchase, or this is what I want to publish. Okay. So here I can click and see all these photos in a nice little carousel, right? Make sure that they're the photos that I want. Looks good. And now I can hit publish. Okay. Awesome. Now, a few minutes here left. I want to make sure that if there are any other questions, we can tackle them. But ultimately, there is a help desk. If we do have any questions, we can click on help desk here. Is that not live in my staging? All right. Well, help desk essentially is going to provide you some how-to videos on how to add your credentials first, how to create your own listing, right? How to use the bi-directional out of sync feature. Okay. So there's going to be plenty of videos that you can check out or watch in the help desk. Know that those videos are always going to be updated and new videos cut upon any new feature that's added to Ocusell list. Okay. And know that the FMLS team is there for any help and assistance. Okay. Myself included. I'll be working hand in hand with FMLS to make sure that any needs, questions, request, any of those are addressed. So appreciate your time today. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to turn it over to Titus just for a minute to see if there's any questions that we can tackle before the end of the hour.
Thanks a lot, Pat, for your demonstration here. Ocusell, a really nice product, and I hope the agents will get a chance to really go in there and play around with it. We did have a couple of other questions that I wanted to just kind of put out to you. One was on the admin side, that if an admin enters listings for the agents, is there a form to fill out for the admin?
Gotcha. So this is the form. This is the form. This is a digital data form. Um, as far as PDFs that you'll, check all those check boxes and they're 20 pages long. Um, this is your digital form now for Ocusell List. With Ocusell List Plus, where there is kind of a workflow and multiple people involved within the transaction where I, the agent, have a listing coordinator and they're putting it in for me. Those List Plus may have a bigger need for a not a digital, but like a PDF version of that. But with this list, Ocusell List, there is no PDF version, just the digital version that you saw today.
Okay, thank you. And one more question was a lot of folks were saying that they've added both their FMLS and their Georgia MLS credentials in, but when they're trying to put in a listing, only FMLS is showing as an option.
I gotcha. Okay. Um, okay. I know that Georgia did at some point, I don't know how recently, they have had some changes with their password requirements. So if you have not changed your GMLS password in, let's say, a year or longer, I believe they have new requirements that need to be met on these third parties. So, for instance, if your old password does not include a number or a special character or a capital letter, those are now requirements that Georgia has introduced. So I would just double check with Georgia and maybe even just proactively reset your password there, come back into Ocusell with the new updated requirements and see if that doesn't do the trick. If not, um, you can reach out to support at ocusell.com if you want to bypass FMLS for any Georgia needs. I'd be happy to have someone on my team sit down and look into that for you.
All righty. Well, thank you, Pat. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to being able to use Ocusell. And absolutely, as Pat said, the help desk videos are also inside of Ocusell over there on the left-hand side in the green section. So you can always kind of reach out to the help desk area and watch some of the videos that are there. You have the support at fmls.com email that you can reach out to FMLS's customer care desk, as well as if you would like to give our customer care a call, you can always reach out to us as well. And as Pat mentioned, Ocusell also has their own help desk where you can kind of reach out to them. Also, if you have any questions that are need to bypass FMLS and only refer to the Georgia MLS information. So we thank you, Pat, for your time.
No problem. Thank you guys. There are a few additional webinars happening this month. I don't have them in front of me, but I imagine there's going to be some announcements and or um emails that go out to let you know. So again, the Ocusell help email is Ocusell or support at Ocusell rather. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Pat. Everyone, have a great day today. We appreciate your time.